Narayana. Salutations and welcome to all wonderful Adhyatmika Sadhakas, Bhagavad Bhaktas, Shastra Adhyayana Vidyarthins, Mumukshus and Jignasus. Let us have that fervor, devotion in our hearts to salute to Paramatma, to Guru Parampara, to Shruti Mata and our Ishta Devata who are giving us this opportunity of studying Shastras. In this life or the world of ours, when we open eyes and see how many things are there for us to work and understand and or achieve. Not one, not two, a million things are there for us achievable. And each one promising some or the other pleasures or happinesses or at one level of fulfillment. And the abilities, resources that are given to you and us as human beings is they are very meager, very less. Time wise, maximum how much we live 100, years. After 80, 85, difficult only to fully balance and work. Other energies, resources, abilities, if we see, even they are also limited. So, therefore, can we achieve all the things that are there in front of us? Or not? We can't achieve. Then, does it mean that we should be without achieving anything? That also doesn't look good at all. It doesn't justify us being human who have got the Purushartha Samarthya, doesn't suit to the dignity of human. Then what is to be done? Definitely something has to be done and achieved. The beauty in the human life is what? Though resources are limited, yet the kindness of the Lord for the human beings only is that with these limited resources given only, we can gain something, gaining which everything remains gained, everything happens gained. This is the kindness of the Lord who gave it to the human beings only, and that is what it is. The theme and question of all the serious, sincere pursuers in the world, we call them as Rishi Muni, and they, in their pursuit, all of them discovered that one Paramatma, one truth, one reality in the one life only, with all the limited resources given only. But the gain was so fantastic, beautiful, that in that gain, everything is gained. That is why Kasminnu Bhagavo Vijnate Sarvamidam Vijnatam Bhavati. Or Yajnatva Neha Bhuyaha Anyat Jnatavyam Avashishyate. Or Yat Prapya Nakinchid Vanchati Shoshati Ramate न द्वेष्टि नोत्साही भवति. So to yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. So, luckily. So therefore, what is intelligence is thinking in this way. That what is that minimum when we gain, in the gain of which the maximum is gained. If that thinking of ours brings us to the spiritual understanding that it is the self or the truth, when it is gained, everything is gained. If this is clearly heard, studied, understood, accepted by us, acceptance is important. Then our intelligence is being used for us to become matured. So the true maturity of human lies in the intelligence of discovering that in the gain of there is something, everything is gained. Then with this maturity, when we are practical only in trying to know or reach or gain that alone, then we are true in our own helping ourselves. Else, we are untrue to ourselves. We are dishonest to ourselves. We are not real lovers of ourselves. We are our own enemy. Because with one human life, when something can be known in the gaining of which everything is gained, if you and I, if we are not pursuing that, because in this pursuit of the self, nobody stops us. Outside, somebody may object, but it is nothing to do with the outside. It is inside only. So, if we are not finding ourselves the interest or time in knowing that and discovering that, tell what good we are doing to what ourselves. If we are not doing good to us, instead of that, we are doing only the bad to ourselves. How can we call ourselves as a friend to ourselves? We are in fact the enemies to ourselves. And the ugliness of the things of the world is what? How much ever we put effort and gain anything, nothing, nobody, no experience, no situation remains permanent with us. And for that, whole life is spent. Ah, and that when one gains, permanently it remains gained and it is unconditional and infinite. If for that, if we are not going, if we are not trying, then who is whose enemy? Who is our enemy? Therefore, bandhuratma atmanastasya yenatmaiva atmana jitah anatmanastu shatrutve vartetha atma eva shatruvat. All these shlokas indicate this only. So, this alertful, conscious using of the intellect to think and come to this type of understandings is in the dignity of the human, and that alone lifts his life to the intellectual level which is supposed to live beyond senses, body, and mind. With that intellect which is thinking in these lines, with that intellect which is gaining guidance from the Guru and Shastra, with his intellect which is convinced about what is to be achieved, the ultimate, the truth and Brahman, with his intellect, how to achieve that with all the clarities? No, no. When we live life, definitely, certainly, we evolve, we reach to the higher horizons and higher evolutions, higher achievements and joys. Then that is true fulfillment in ourselves, true contentment in ourselves, true satisfactions in ourselves. Now, achievement of that definitely gives the great fulfillment. But to achieve that, when we have to do the sadhana, at the time of doing the sadhana only, the variety of doubts, despairs, fears, insecurities, senses of misery, feeling of the missing of the bhoga of the jagat, all these, like when the government wants to work honestly for the nation, how the coalition of all non-patriotic opposition parties come together to trouble in the democratic setup like of India, same way Bharat, no India, of Bharata Mata. In the same way, when we are in that way, trying to do sadhana, which promises the result, yet at the time of doing, each of these powerful enemies try to, what do you say, disarray us or take us away from our pursuit or the path. That is where our conviction to reach the goal is tested. That is where our courage to say no to them is really tested. Mm. Because of our earlier habits of living life like this, non spiritual, there is a comfort zone created. So, all those inner experiences of the past will tell us कि ये मजा है, ये अच्छा है, इधर ही अच्छा रहेगा, तो यहीं रहेंगे. Let us not go for this. Like the good example, common living is the mornings when we get up at 3:34. Night we with the thought that early morning we'll get up and do dhyana, etc. Only we sleep. But when we get up at that time, see that mind's suggestions, ki sleep some more time, some more time. no hurry to get up, nothing required. So all that thoughts of earlier everyday's nidra at that time so powerfully attacks that one simple isolated bechara Hinduism thought, Hindu tara, Sanatana Dharma, कि which wants to get up and do dhyana और उपासना उसको मौका ही नहीं देते हैं ये सारे वृत्तियां मिलकर. So many they attack as if we end up in sleeping only. Whereas conquering those powerful urges of sleep, if someone really does something to wake up, takes bath, does his japa, upasana and puja, it is such a great fulfillment for conquering the nidra and at that time for doing the sadhana which we wanted to do. Applicable everywhere. That half an hour we want to sit for our puja. At that time also mind says, nahi, 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 because ko aadat nahi hai. Mind has only habit of enjoying the objects through senses and tired sleeping. Of that mind we were slaves from million of lives whenever we were human. After doing the puja, the satisfaction, the fulfillment is so great. And we have worshipped the Lord, it is noted in the books of the Lord that this fellow has done sincere puja to me today. Nothing but benefits, nothing but blessings through that. After doing, but before doing, we are not allowed to do. So to the japa, so to the dhyana, so to coming to the class every day. You know, before coming and sitting into the class, it is a struggle. Can I avoid the class? All excuses are over. Now, which excuse I have to do it to myself now? Bechara Swami will agree any excuse. He has nobody, therefore he can't say anything. So, what excuse I can give? How many thoughts come? But any one thought we succumb to, then we can't attend. And then it becomes a habit. Dekhte, dekhte, totally we go away from it. In a 6 months or 1 year's time, all the study of Upanishads, Bhagavatam, Ramayanam, Shastram, which we were so beautifully doing and enjoying, from all that great blessings, we go away. Back into the same old ruts of worldliness, samsara, bhoga, dehendriyaditadatmya, struggle in the world with things and people. Same, the worst dead rat race. Some people get succumbed to that with one or two weaknesses. Bas. Then after a few days, then neither the God because of his self-respect nor the Guru because of self-respect involve in our life. Then what do we say? Oh, Bhagavan and Guru doesn't want me to be spiritual, therefore they are not calling me, they are not telling me, they are not inviting me, they are not pulling me, they are not pushing me. Right? You are already earlier pulled and pushed when you are innocent uh, seeker, innocent person, where we were ready. You were ready to be pulled and pushed. Oh, ho gaya. Then now you are like a buffalo. Nobody can do it. You have to get up and walk. That it is my life. It is I who have to grow spiritually. Therefore, it is in my interest, in spite of all inner and outer obstacles and tests. I must go to listen to the class. I must listen. I must understand that it come from within. But do you think it will come? They justify only. But those who have conquered those weaknesses, every day they come. Till the Paramatma is experienced, will come. Conquering that when we come and sit in class, do our chantings, invoke the God's grace, and start studying, see the joy, see the fulfillment, see the comfort, see that self confidence, self respect. Above and all that, our spiritual depth, spiritual knowledge, spiritual convictions are growing. No, our subtle sattvic intellect should observe all these things, should understand all these things. Then, according to the requirement, we should know what to do. And exactly when we do, every day, every moment, then only we are sadhakas, we are on the right path, we are ensuring ourselves for the growth. Mm. After all, it is our life, our evolution. Whether we are realized or not, it doesn't make any difference to the world, to the Lord, to the Prakriti, to the Gurus, to anybody. ये अपना जिंदगी. Everybody living their own life. The totality has nothing to do with any individual. If any individual troubles the total, what to do to suppress that fellow, the total knows. It has its own plans how to secure, save itself. But it is you and I who are struggling individually with our upadhi. We have to discover in ourselves the necessity of our own adhyatmic sadhana, because that's the only way which takes us away from all these limitations, bondages. So may therefore these understandings be clear. What is it? Human life, very small, less resources, things to be achieved are millions, all cannot be achieved, few can be achieved. But among them, there is one thing when it is achieved, everything is achieved. If our intellect gets an understanding and idea of it, gets convinced about it, and does its best effort to achieve that. It is so beautiful, like it's just like he is struggling for little money, even for survival. But something clicked in the mind that got that lottery ticket, 10 रुपए, 20 रुपए, 50. भगवान भरोसे. Suddenly, to that ticket only the lottery lag gaya. Then suddenly from roadpati he became crorepati. Don't we see in the world such things happening? Hundreds of thousands of examples. Fellow got married to that girl. She's the only daughter. Therefore, the parents of the daughter, because of some goodness of this son-in-law, they gave all the property to him. Why can he? Suddenly he plays very, mm, nobody there, nothing to do. An airport comes there. Suddenly, or an industry comes, or an industrial valley comes. Suddenly, from zero cost, the land cost becomes so booming that fellow, one tenth of or half of his land he sells, he becomes multi-millionaire. Don't we see in the world so many things happening? In the same way, you call it as the luck or jackpot, something they say. Coming into spiritual life and pursuing that is called like jackpot only, like the lottery only, like booming in the business only. Surprising it is. You know? In many things in sports, you can see from nowhere suddenly in one match he does so well, whole country में वो famous हो जाता है. A small youngster, a child of 18, 16, they perform something well, they become famous. I'm quoting all these examples to say that all of them are again temporary. After certain time, somebody overtakes or you lose that great position. But the spiritual goal or reached once is at ultimate we are all the time. So, if we are able to think in all these things and get ourselves convinced and walk this path, we are doing immense good to ourselves. And thank God, by our Punya Phala, Guru Anugraha, we have come to spirituality. But to sustain in spirituality and do the sadhana, we have to find inspiration from within. This intellectual knowledge or understanding, which we analyzed from last 10 minutes, is for that purpose, that I have to inspire myself from here on to continue consistently my sadhana, if possible, more seriously, sincerely, so that I scale one by one heights. I reach one by one destinations en route to my final emancipation. So इस तरह के शुद्ध बुद्धि और बुद्धि with proper understanding, when we live life, then there is no kimahagam sadhuna karavam kimahagam babam akaravam. What I spoke last 20 minutes says this is the basis. Then Brahmagnani never has these two questions. Why didn't I do good even though he has done no good at all? And why did I do a bad even though he has done thousand bad? Because in spite of all that, if he has done spirituality and reached the goal, in the achievement of it, all the non doing of good, doing of bad gets nullified and neutralized. Because the achievement of spiritual goal is of that grandeur and that greatness. So may we all pursue it seriously, sincerely. Today, tomorrow, 2 days is our Janmashtami. Evening after 8 p.m. the Janmashtami comes. Therefore, some are celebrating today, some tomorrow, like Krishna, being very dynamic, very agile, very proactive. very purposeful in his life throughout every moment, taking him as inspiration. May we also do the Kalyana to ourselves only through spiritual sadhana, and who has done the Kalyana of oneself through spirituality, he is doing Kalyana not to the neighbors or family members only, but to the entire universe. Presence of such great Jnani Mahatma is a great, grand, glorious asset to the entire world. So, in these few words, let us enjoy our today's day too with all our 6 classes and 2 chantings. First chanting now, chantings to actually 6 classes में है. Here Taittiriya Parayanam, then Taittiriya Adhyanam with Shankara Bhashyam, Yoga Darshanam with Vyasa Bhashyam, Mundaka Upanishad beautiful with uh, Shankara Bhashyam, Bhagavad Gita, then Bhagavatam. We are seeing the 84th chapter. Naradji's words we saw. Now today the answer to Vasudeva's Prashna. Already we touched upon it. More detail we will see. In Sri Rama Katha, we will see today Sri Rama coming and meeting all of them. Yesterday we saw the flight, the Pushpaka Vimana's arrival. And how each one meets with each other. Beautiful. On Janmashtami day, the Rama back to Ayodhya. Good coincidence. And our the chantings Ashtottaras we will see. Let us start the day. Yesterday we have come up to in our chanting. We have to do Vijnanam Yajnam and Abhayam Pratishtha. Om Vijnanam Yajnam Tanute Karmani Tanute Picha Vijnanam Deva Sarve Brahmajeshtamupasate Vijnanam Brahma Chedveda Tasmachenna Pramadyati Sharire Papmano Hitva सर्वान् कामान् समश्नुत इति तस्यैष एव शारीर आत्मा यः पूर्वस्य तस्माद्वा एतस्मात् विज्ञानमयात् अन्योन्तर आत्मानन्दमयः तेनैष पूर्णः स वा एष पुरुषविद एव तस्य पुरुषविदताम् अन्वयं पुरुषविदः तस्य प्रियमेव शिरः मोदो दक्षिणपक्षः प्रमोद उत्तरपक्षः आनन्द आत्मा ब्रह्ममुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति असन्नेव स भवति असद्ब्रह्मेति वेद चेत् अस्ति ब्रह्मेति चेद्वेद सन्तमेनन्ततो विदुरिति तस्यैष एव शारीर आत्मा यः पूर्वस्य अथातोऽनुप्रश्नाः उता विद्वानमं लोकं प्रेत्य कश्चन गच्छति आहो विद्वानमुं लोकं प्रेत्य कश्चित् समश्नुता ओ शोकामयत् बहुस्यां प्रजा येति सदबोधप्यत सदवस्तप्त्वा इदगं सर्वमसृजत यदिदं किञ्च तत्सृष्ट्वा तदेवानुप्राविशत तदनुप्रविश्य सच्चत्यच्चाभवत् निरुक्तं च निरुक्तं च निलयनं च निलयनं च विज्ञानं च विज्ञानं च सत्यं चानृतं च सत्यमभवत् यदिदं किञ्च तत्सत्यमित्याचक्षते तदप्येष श्लोको भवति ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Enough. Tomorrow we'll do the thing remaining chanting. Om Narayan. Om. 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 Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharusibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyah. Om Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Bhishajay Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarvalokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Om Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Munam Punah. Om Bhavayeva Bhavaniti Me Nitaram Samajayata Chetasi Kautukita मम वारय मोहमहाजलधिं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्. ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तन्नमामि. ॐ परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्तब्रह्मविद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः. ओम श्री वेदव्यास वैशंपायन याज्ञवल्क्य आद्य शंकरादि गुरुभ्यो अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. तेषां सर्वेषां कृपा अनुग्रहेण उपनिषदोक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्य बोध सिद्ध्यर्थं सनातन धर्मस्य वैदिक हिंदव संस्कृतेः सांप्रदायानां शास्त्राणां गुरु शिष्य देवता परंपरायाः पुनरुत्थान पुनर्जागरण विश्वव्याप्ति द्वारा विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगति द्वारा विश्व शांति कल्याण एकता प्राप्त्यर्थं तद्वारा समस्त लोक ऐक्यता प्राप्त्यर्थम् अस्मिन् कर्मणि निष्ठितानाम् अस्माकं सह सर्वेषां बाह्य अभ्यन्तर शत्रुविघ्न निर्मूलन द्वारा शक्ति साधना संपदा सानुकूल्यतानां प्राप्ति द्वारा अस्मिन् धर्म संस्थापन कार्ये दिग्विजयार्थं श्री कृष्ण यजुर्वेदान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषदः पारायणम् आद्य शंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययनं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे. ॐ यस्माज्जातं जगत्सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रणीयते येनेदन्धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः. यैरिमे गुरुवे पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान्नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं. तैत्तिरेयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते. ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः. नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मावादिशं ऋतमवादिशं तन्मामावेद तद्वक्तारमावेद आवेन्माम् आवेद्वक्तारम्. ओम शांति शांति शांति. ओम अथ तृतीया भृगुवल्ली दशमोऽनुवाकः. ओम स यश्चायं पुरुषे यश्चासावादित्ये स एकः स य एवं विद अस्माल्लोकात् प्रेत्य एतमन्नमयमात्मानमुपसंक्रम्य एतं प्राणमयमात्मानमुपसंक्रम्य एतं मनोमयमात्मानमुपसंक्रम्य एतं विज्ञानमयमात्मानमुपसंक्रम्य एतमानन्दमयमात्मानमुपसंक्रम्य इमान् लोकान् कामान्निकामरूप्यनुसञ्चरन् एतत्सामगायन्नास्ते हावो 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 अहमन्नमहमन्नमहमन्नम् अहमन्नादो अहमन्नादो अहमन्नादः अहग्गश्लोककृदहग्गश्लोककृदहग्गश्लोककृत अहमस्मि प्रथमजारुतास्य पूर्वं देवेभ्यो अमृतस्य नाभायि यो मा ददाति स इदेव मावाह. अहमन्नमन्नमदन्तमाद्मि अहं विश्वं भुवनमभ्यभवाम सुवर्णज्योतेः य एवं वेद इत्युपनिषद ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Friends, we have seen Dashamanuvaka, all the samagnyas, 5 plus 6 plus 6, along with very beautifully promising phala shruti. So, when this that was over, there was a prashnottari between Siddhanti and Purabakshi. The Purabakshi was raising the questions, asking that Siddhanti was giving the answer. The whole purpose of all of that is to say that there is only Paramatma, and to that Paramatma there is no samsara ever. And that Parama Atma are we. In that knowledge, intellectual, we have to abide in, and we have to try to experience that state of being which was never in the past, never in the present, and in the future has become a samsari. And one simple thought to be carried to substantiate this is what? Ki Atmani Brantya Upacharyate. Okay, the whole samsara is in the Karya Jagat in the form of the Drashta Drushya or Bhoktru Bhogya. So the Bhoktru Bhogya is samsara. That Bhoktru Bhogya samsara is only in the Karya Jagat, not in Paramatma. And that Karya Jagat's presence is there only when Paramatma is not attended to. When the Paramatma is attended and experienced, there is no Karya Jagat as if separate from Paramatma. Narayana. Om. And then, for coming to this conclusion, whatever the questions were asked by Purva Bakshi, Siddhanti started giving us the answer. So, nanu atma api paramatmanah karyam, all of that is in drushtam jivasya samsaritvam iti chet. These are the very beautiful, crucial questions and answers. What he says? Jivasya samsaritvam drushtam. So, jiva becoming a samsari is so clearly seen, identifying by the upadhis. The answer is what? Upalabdhu anupalabhyatvatu. Means what? कि these things are known. जीव के जो भी आप संसार लक्षण कह रहे हो, all of them are known. And always relation is the knower cannot be the known, known cannot be the knower. Same is the answer for the next question also. कि संसार धर्म विशिष्ट आत्मा उपलभ्यते इति चेत. Okay, samsara dharma vishishta atma means there is a vishishta atma which has got samsara dharma other than the parama atma, and he is going through samsara, if you say like that. So the analysis here is very, very crucial, very, very important. What he says is that is called as the dharma of that dharmi, which is for saying it is separate, but otherwise they are inseparable. Examples are the heat or burning power of the fire. So too the illuminating capacity of the light. And what example we gave? The sweetness of sugar. When you say the sweetness of sugar or illumination of the light or burning power of fire, they appear to be two, but they are inseparable things. One cannot be without other. First, second, the same dharma will not influence that dharmi. Like the burning power of fire will not burn the fire. Illuminating power of the light will not illuminate the light. The sweetness of the sugar never creates diabetes for the sweet. And a sweet without sweetness is illusion, means it is impossible. So to a light without prakasha shakti is impossible. So too, if you call it as a fire, it has to be a burning power. It can't be separated. But in your case of the dharma dharmitva, what you talked about, ki sarsara dharma vishishta atma, no, the samsara dharmas which the atma, as you are going through now, and because of the going through, you are saying they are there. If they are there, then if they are dharma dharmi being one, they can never be separated from him. Therefore, the moksha prasang ka hani ho jata hai. Because the Atma has got the dharmas of the samsara as his own dharma. So dharmas never go away from the dharmi. Therefore, the Atma becoming samsari through this dharma can never be avoided. Therefore, the Atma cannot be liberated or freed. He will have to suffer the samsaritva because of the samsara dharma. So, moksha ka anartha क्यों हो जाए मोक्ष प्रसंग ही रहेगा नहीं. Then there is no need of shastra, swadhyaya, satsang. All the thing just collapses. Like the Indian way of life, Sanatana Dharma of life, if that is not brought by the thought, word, and deed, the whole world nation in all its variety of levels collapses only. Because the Sanatana Dharma is for that purpose of evolution. If somebody doesn't understand it, especially those who are in power and immature fellows, and then they bring some nonsense copied from other nations and all, it only blocks the all type of evolution. Here also, samsara dharma, if it are accepted, then you remain as jiva samsari, you will never be getting that moksha. मोक्ष का प्रसंग ही नहीं होगा फिर. Then there is no moksha, no need of shastra study, no sadhana. Then continue being in the world for dharma, artha, kama. Then just go through the transmigration of samsara for the eternal things. That's what we were doing so far. What is the new thing? So this is the answer. Ki dharmanam dharminaha avyatirekatu. So the dharmas and dharmi are never opposite to each other. Karmatva anubhavattehe. Therefore, one karmatva anubhati, one doing one thing on other is impossible. So karmatva anubhati means ki the fire becomes karta and it does the karma of burning on the burning power only. Or burning power is the karta, it is burning the what do you say, the fire itself. And on whom the action is falling is called as karma in in Sanskrit or any language. Karta, karma, kriya. So ये होता नहीं because they are one without second. Then Ushna Prakashayoho Dahya Prakashatva Anubhavati Vatu example. Two examples. Ushna and Dahya and Prakasha, Dahya Prakashya. Ushna Dahya Prakasha Prakashya. These are the two sets of examples. The fire, burning power, the light, the illuminating power. They are inseparable because they are called Dharma Dharmi, you know, because of which they are called dharma dharmi. In case of the samsara dharma, they have to be given up, then only it becomes a moksha. If they are given up, they are not called a dharma. Therefore, Atma never has the samsara dharma, samsara lakshanas as dharma. They are only in the ignorance, in the bhranti taken upon. Now, this is how the Vedantic Vicharana relentlessly, continuously, when we do, then only the deeper understandings come and take us deeper beyond any superficial misunderstandings. And with that understanding, our whole outlook of the life changes. And this thing we can't convey to the others. We may convey, but they can't listen. They can't understand. They need to spend that time again of contemplation to grasp. बोले गुरु महाराज बोलेंगे लेकिन सुनने वाले को समझने के लिए अपना ताकत समय लगता है. नाउ त्रासादि दर्शनात् दुःखित्वादि अनुमीयते इति चेत. So the dukkhitam to the atma, how can you deny? Because There is a bhaya, there is a kamana, there is a krodha, there is a jealousy, there is a, the hatred, vengeance. How many of these continuous things are experienced, because of them? The dukkha also is experienced, and then I know that I am dukhi, and then I seek sympathy from others, I seek help from others. Who is that fellow in this world who is not having all this? अब ये सब भी देख कर पूर्व पक्षी वर्ड्स, these are all. How do you say that dukkitva is not there in Paramatma or Atma? I am Atma and I am Dukhi, therefore Atma has become Dukhi. See that superficially experienced thing, how importance it is given without the given gift called as intellect being used. भगवान gave us the intellect as a very powerful gift. उसको यूज नहीं करते हुए ठीक तरह से अब बंदा जो कहता है कि आई एम एक्सपीरियंसिंग दुख बिकॉज ऑफ द त्रास, बिकॉज ऑफ द अनफुलफिल्ड कामना, बिकॉज ऑफ द भय, बिकॉज ऑफ द jealousy, because of so many the competitions, losses in the world, humiliations, insults. Trasa adi means the causes leading to the dukkha anubhuti. In today only from morning till now, at least 20 times I went through the dukkha anubhutis. I went through. At the physical body level, there was a dukkha, stomach ache hua, ye hua, ho hua. At the pranamaya level, there was a dukkha. Timely the coffee did not come. Therefore, I suffered for those 10 minutes. At mano level, I had the dukkha because nobody said good morning to me. What do you say for this, sir? See, these are the crucial questions and the answer for which, if we can grasp it, we are entering into the understanding of what Vedanta is saying, what Upanishads are saying, in what experiences the great saints are there, to which they are welcoming us also with all red carpet welcome and treatment by giving all these Upadesha, etc. Answer is what? Trasadehe dukkhasya cha. Okay, trasa adi means the karanas like a trasa means bhaya. Bhaya, kamana, krodha, then dvesha, asuya. These are all the karanas. And the karya of it is dukkha, anubhuti. Of all these karya karana, listen carefully, both of them, upalabhyamanatva. They are all upalabhya. They are all obtained. They are all gained. Means they are not always there. Therefore, they are coming and they are going. Then there is somebody other than them to whom they come and from whom they go away. Therefore, they come and go. That's why they are not his permanent dharmas. What is the final thing to be gained? Through any of the upadhi, even though going through upadhi, the Atma Vastu never becomes samsari. The delusion of not knowing this knowledge and insisting ourselves to go through the dukkha because of the outer karanas is projecting the never ending but never existing but never ending jiva bhava. So, Jiva is an insistence by ourselves, by our own stupid, misunderstood mind intellect, wherein all the anubhutis that are there only in the Upadhi, never touching the self, are taken to be touching the self. Same topic in our Yoga Darshanam also. So, do you want to be in the delusion of accepting that kartru bhoktru on yourself, or do you want to say that they belong to the karya jagat, not to me? In this way, do you want to remain as a witness or sakshi to them? This opportunity, this choice is always ours. The one who rightly executes choice and says both kartru bhoktru belong to the karya jagat. I am only the witness of it, not at all disturbed, perturbed by their coming, their staying, their going away. He is Mukta Purush. I am a Sakshi. The one who takes every of the cause of trasa as well as trasa as if his own. By choice, he is suffering. That suffering entity is Jiva. Jiva ever suffers, Atma never suffers. Jiva always dukhi, Atma always Ananda Swarupa. Jiva always limited, Atma is infinite. Jiva is always effortful and struggling. For the self, there is no effort, struggle required. And Jiva is the Dukkha Anubhuta, struggling for happiness. Atma is always in the Ananda Swarupa. So that's what yesterday we quoted, Taittiriya, Jandogyam, Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi Shvetaketo. That real self is reality, Satyam. And that reality, real self, jo hai na, that is the self. And you are that, oh my dear, not your Jiva identifying with. It is in our own choice, with our own mind, with ignorance, identified with the happenings at the Upadhi level, we can suffer. Detaching from them, we can just relax also. What an important discussion it is. Same thing in the Yoga Darshanam we will study. Hmm. So, in our own minds, clear understanding as to what is the position of self, not touched by any one of them, that we can really free ourselves from happening. Otherwise, we can't change the happenings of the world. If you accept the world's presence, all the modification in the world cannot be stopped. Only by weaning away, withdrawn from it, is the way for us to establish in ourselves. Once established in self and come back and see all that was there earlier as if happening and trying to tempt us to get identified, it all is found to be nowhere there. If at all it is there, it is never other than me. That Anumuti the Jivan Mukta has got to. Now the last point of this Prashnottari was Kapila Kanadi Tarka Shastra Virodha iti chet. The Kapila Munis Sankhya, Kanada Munis Vaisheshika depend on the Tarka. तो उस तर्क का विषय विरोध हो जाएगा because they are establishing the jiva to be samsari and then they do sadhana. In Vedanta, jiva is never there, Paramatma has never become samsari. The truth is revealed. This is called vidya. Vidya, please remember, is always of that thing which is always there. Vidya means जानना. किसका जानकारी होता है जो हमेशा है उसी का होता है. So the self eternally is there infinitely, there is there liberated. Knowing that is Vidya, not doing anything. Atma Vidya means Vidyamana Atma ka Vidya. Existing self's knowledge. Nothing added to it, nothing removed from it, nor improved upon, nor created, not brought. It is there always. Not known avidya, known Vidya, that's it. So Vidyamana Mukta Atma Swarupasya Vidya eva Mokshasya Hetu. But in other people, they accept samsara, then they say there is sadhana, and that also the limited sense. They say when you detach from the prakriti, then you are mukta, prakriti continues to be there. Vedanta says, how can there be Dvaita? And with the Dvaita existing, how can you say there is Mukti? Because Mukti has to be only when it is infinite. Infinite has to be one without second. If there is two, then there is no infinitude because one limits the other finitude. When the finitude comes, how can there be moksha? Logic of Vedanta is very powerful. If not today, tomorrow you will be under the influence of that Prakriti. Is it not? Therefore, Ekameva Dvayam Brahma, as propounded by the Vedanta alone, is true. So, Kapila Kanadi, Tarka, Shastra Virodha iti chet, उसका विरोध हो जाएगा. नो भगवान आदि शंकर आंसर सो ब्यूटीफुल. विरोध क्या, उनका विरोध ही नहीं, उनका सत्यानाश होना चाहिए. दे शुड नॉट बी देयर. दी तर्क के द्वारा रॉन्ग चीज को जो एस्टैब्लिश करने वाले होते हैं, यू नो, See, the most powerful, strong scolding of these, other than the Advaita Shastras, in a sweet manner, Bhagavan Adi Shankara does here as an answer to this last question of the Purva Bakshi. What he says, ki tesham mula abhave veda virodhe cha bhrantatva means what? Mula abhava. Mula is what? Ekameva Dvayam Brahma. So they are Mula mein they have done mistake of accepting the Pradhana and Purusha, the duality. Second is what? The Veda Virodhe. They are doing Virodha of the Veda. How? Because you only said they are Tarka Shastra. See, Tarka is depending on the intellection. And Veda is behind the intellection. Veda is a Pramana. Veda is not achieved through the intellect. Remember, already Veda is eternally is there. To understand it, the intellect is used, not to oppose the Veda, not to create the Veda. Veda knowledge is eternal. To understand it to the extent it can be understood, the intellect is used. Wherever it can't understand the intellect, with all its tarka, intellect is dropped, not the Veda Vakya. And these people are trying to understand the Veda according to the Tarka. Wherever with Tarka they are not able to understand, they are rejecting the Veda, not giving up their Tarka. Therefore, they are Veda Virodhi. So, Mula Bhava, Ekameva Dvayam Brahma, they are not accepting. The Veda Virodhi, because they are giving value to that useless intellect of a human who is challenging the Veda Jnana, which is Apaurushaya, which is Ishvara Parameshvara, Purusha Nisrutam it is. How dare they do that? Two mistakes. Third mistake is what there's a ki Bhrantatva Upapattehe. Finally, what they come to the realization is Prakriti is there, Purusha is there. The Purusha, if he detaches from the Prakriti, then he is liberated. ये होगा ही नहीं कभी भी, because as long as there are two there, one will influence the other only. Therefore, the moksha prasanga in them is Bhranti only. For some time, they, when with some power of force of willpower, when they withdraw from the Prakriti, for some time they appear to be in the liberation. That's temporary only, Bhranti. Like the person morning 7, he gets up. Until evening 5:36, he says, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to drink. All that 5-10 hours of his non-drinking is only Bhranti. Because once it o'clock, 7 or 7:30, his hand will go to the bottle, he will drink only. So has he really given up the drink, those 7-8 hours? No, it's a Bhranti only, because Bhranti will take again in the evening. In the same way, when two are there, one will bind the other. They were temporarily, when they withdrew from the Prakriti, they appear to be in the moksha, but that won't be for long. Again, they will come to bondage because the Prakriti is there. Therefore, before that bondage happens, whatever the moksha they are feeling with their willpower or any other sadhana, detaching from Prakriti, ये मोक्ष का भ्रांति है, real मोक्ष नहीं है. Real मोक्ष तो एकमेवाद्वयम ब्रह्म. So the moksha is in ekमेवाद्वयम ब्रह्म. Then the Vedas final point also say ekमेवाद्वयम ब्रह्म. Then the tarka cannot be refuting ekमेवाद्वयम ब्रह्म. Tarka, if helps in understanding Ekameyadvayam, we use up to that. है ना, दुस्तर्कात सुमिरम्यताम श्रुति मतः तर्क अनुविधीयताम. We have studied in our sadhana panchakam as guided by Bhagavan Adi Shankara. Therefore, because of these three limitations or mistakes, these Kapila Kanadi have to suffer only. उनका हम क्या विरोध कर रहे हैं, वो लोग खुद ही विरोध कर रहे हैं. Did Rama do any बिगाड़ो to Ravana? वो खुद ही अपने आप को बिगाड़ा. This Kamsa, Shishuvara, are they troubled by Krishna? No, they themselves destroyed themselves. We, the Sanatana Dharma, we not doing anything bad to them. They themselves are by their own mistake in their philosophy, they are destroying themselves. They deserve it. That's the final word of Bhagavan Adi Shankara. They deserve it. And what is the very subtle anger in that? कि वेद का विरोध करेंगे वो लोग. फाइनल प्रमाणजन्य ज्ञान का विरोध करेंगे. And they just believe the tarka, the intellect, more than the pramana of the Rishi and Shastra? How dare they are? They should get kicked only. Inside. There is a feeling behind this. Tesha moola abhave, veda virodecha, bhrantatovvatehe. Therefore, they deserve that what you said as virodaha, that they should be that way defeated only. So, in this way, the final thought is what? Shruti upapattibhyam. Therefore, from the Shruti Mata, and luckily because you have asked question, I gave the answers because of this upapatti also. Siddham achieved. What is Siddham? Atmanaha asamsaritvam. See the beauty? This is the conclusion. The self is never has become an asamsari. Never became a samsari. He was eternally a samsari. Remember, the nature and subtlety of the self is far beyond an excellent other, wherein all the Maya Kruta cannot reach to it to touch it. This is what the subtlety you have to understand. Ki, in the very space, the water is there. In the very space, the Agni is there. In the very space, the wind is there, earth is there. Yet, none of these four things can shower or influence with their gunas the space. Why? The nature and subtlety of space is something beyond that these things cannot reach to that subtlety. Then how can they influence? So the earth cannot make the space heavy. The water cannot make the space wet. The fire cannot burn the space. The air cannot dry the space. Why? These four cannot touch the space. उसका level अलग है. And they are together all the time. What is the togetherness? In the space only all these four are there. And in all these four, as their core Atma, space alone is there. Understood? This is what Vibhuti Yoga, Vishwarupa Sandarsana Yoga, Etam Vibhutim Yogam cha Mama Yoveti Tattvataha in Bhagavad Gita. Pure self alone is there in everything. Everything is in the self only. Yet no thing can touch the self to make it samsari even a moment. Just like dream world dreamer can never touch the waker to bigado even an iota of him. The poverty, the accident, the misery of the dream, has it smuggled and touched the waker? In Bhranti, you thought yourself to be a dreamer, you suffered in the dream world. That never touched its Atma of the dream world called as the waking mind. Same way, the pure self in us has never gone through to become any samsara. It is only in our delusion, Bhranti, of not discovering the truth that we are allowing ourselves to suffer just by giving extra value and importance to the Upadhi, and whatever is happening is in the Upadhi. So, this is the whole thing is Vedanta. First, forgot the self. Second, projected the not self. Third, gave reality to the not self. Four, to that not self, so many qualities are attributed. Fifth, desire for that is created. Sixth, struggling to gain is achieved. Done. Seventh, struggling to maintain. Eighth, struggle to become happy through them. So many nonsenses we are doing very efficiently to continuously suffer, which has not at all any meaning. Like the suffering in the dream has no meaning because the world is unreal. Isn't it? Not tell this to the dreamer, बेटा तू सच नहीं है रे, तू ड्रीमर मिथ्या है रे, तू जागृत पुरुष है रे, तो दुखी मत होना रे. He will not listen because he's taken the dream as real. He suffers. What he has to do? He has to awaken. The two levels of awakening are: one, the awakening happens, let us say, by the grace of the Lord, but after the awakening happens, we have to accept it. That I am a waker, all the dream world is only projected, I need not suffer. So, too, the Guru and Shastras are the ones which awaken. Parthaya Pratibodhitam. To that awakening, we have to awaken and accept it. That yes, I am the self, none of the bodies, etc., can touch me. In this way, remain as the self which is untouched, remain as the self which is untouched, remain as the self which is never untouched. Slowly, slowly, the delusion that there is something other than the self to touch or influence the self goes away. Where is the snake to corrupt the rope, to make the rope poisonous, to make the innocent rope a cruel thing? Nowhere it is. What is to be done there? Ascertaining the rope as a rope, as a rope, as a rope to such an extent that the delusion was that there was a snake completely goes away, and all is in the mind, in the vrittis only. इन योग दर्शनम वृत्ति निरोध कर दो, आत्मानुभूति हो जाता है. In Vedanta, of the vritti, discover yourself to be the Sakshi, remain in the Sakshi, and look back, vrittis disappear. Then inquire the nature of Sakshi, we will know it is to be Satchitananda Brahma. No, this is a big mission of discovering the self. For that, we have to enter into the laboratory of meditation, and in that, the apparatus of Vedanta Vakyas, Guru, Bodha, you have to take up and go on doing the experimentation of contemplation and meditation. And in that heat of contemplation and meditation, all these, what do you say, confusions, delusions keep on going away. And in the final confusion goes away, that pristine, perfect, powerful, infinite, blissful self is realized as our own self. This is what all the Vedantins, Jnanis, having got the guidance from the Gurus, they keep on doing and they achieve also. Same is for all of us. So in this way, the Purva Pakshi's questions all are answered. 3-4 बार पढ़ने से a clarity will come. With that clarity in the intellect, when we re-look at the world, inner or outer, the understanding and the response is different. No more either we are attracted to it or we are bound by it. Neither we are attracted nor bound. We are in the same world, but not the reality is given as it was given earlier. When the reality is not given, how can anything bind us? Again, how did the rope trouble me? The snake trouble me? Because you gave reality to it. It is not real. You gave reality. So too, the world is never real. We gave importance by giving it the reality. The moment from the self standpoint we have learned to see सेल्फ alone is real, everything else not so. The moment the सत्यता नहीं दिया गया उसका, हमको वो बांधेगा ही नहीं हमको. And remember only one thing, except Parabrahma Parama Atma, everything else, including Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Indra, Dikpalakas, and Devatas, the Adityas, all of them are unreal only. Reality only Paramatma. All of them unreal. Pakka, ruthlessly. Then to realize this fact, from wherever we are, to reach to Him, we take the help of all of them. Understood? Like dream. The whole dream is unreal. Only waker mind is real. But of the dream only, some are the experiences of support we take to wake up. It may be a chasing by a tiger or by an income tax or a fire accident, which are unreal, a part of dream. That only wakes us up. But after waking up, even that unreal. Is it not? That is what is the Mandukya level. है ना, न बंधुर न शिष्य न गुरुर नैव चिदानंद रूप शिवोहम शिवोहम. There is a goal to be reached. Till that goal, everybody's help we need, we keep on taking. At the time of taking the help from the world, we have to not giving reality to it, but giving respect value to it. And making use of it for the evolution. And then, having gone to the next stage, look back and thank them. Like Lord Rama. Without Rama's Krupa, right from Sugriva, Vibhishan, Hanuman up to even the last Vanara, can they do anything? You know, in that conquest of Lanka and Ravana, without Rama, no. But what did Rama do after all the conquest is done? Just looked back and respectfully thanked them, moved ahead. You understood the subtlety there in the story. He never gave them reality, but he made use of them all. Out of gratitude, once the work is over, he just thanked them. So to the whole world is unreal but binding earlier. Now it is unreal but useful for our sadhana. Use it for sadhana, reach the self, look back and say thanks with again the clarity that it is unreal. Try to sort out these any paradoxes. If they are there, then we are maturing. And such things doesn't click just like that in one go. We have to listen to such subtle things time and again, repeatedly. We have to pierce our blockings of in the intellect for the clear understanding. That's why regularity. That's why seriousness. That is why our attending through our mind intellect, this Shastra Dhenam again and again till they become absolutely sukshma to catch these things. And what is that which never allows the Manabuddhi to become sukshma to understand spiritual truths is our own ego. What does the ego do? Takes the mind and intellect away from the subtle contemplation into the worldliness. So that's why the ego, when surrender to the Guru, surrender to the Upadesha, surrender to the Manana Chintana, then the understandings will come. Therefore, except making us a samsari and giving us dukkha, ego has never helped anybody. Understood? How can you have an ego? There's no chance. The self has no ego, world has no ego, no devatas have ego, no rishimuni have ego. Only dukhi samsarins are egoistic. And you want to come out of dukkha and samsara? Yeah. The cause of them is ego. Then you are not living the dukkha, ego. How can we leave the samsara then? This is the main thing. Therefore, just that's why through the bhakti we surrender to the Lord. And with our surrender, when He blesses us with these opportunities, with the same bhakti and surrender, we use these opportunities and go on evolving to the self again with bhakti and surrender. And even after reaching the self, when we look back, again there is bhakti and surrender only, never ego allowed. This is the beauty. If that's not understood, then we do everything but not the main thing of dropping the ego. Without ego dropped, the real self is never revealed. That's why aham apetakam, nija vibhanakam. Only when the small aham goes away, the nija real self reveals. This is called as mahadinam tapaha. There is no greater tapasya than this. We have to understand it. Now, कि another reason for the Paramatma to not become a samsari. What it is? Ekatvat cha. Because of his one without second nature. Katham ekatvam. How the ekatvam? Again, Shastra is the quotation for us. Shastra only said in the next line. है ना? Pariye priya bhratruvya. Up to this was all the samagnyas are over. What was the next line after that in the main mantra in that Dashama Anuvakaha? Is it not the same thing which was said again in the second Brahmavalli also towards the end? What was said? Same thing. Mahabi Ahabi. Sayaschayam Purushe Yascha Savaditye Sa Ekaha. Same there also. Sa ekaha, saya evam with asmat lokat pretya. There the thing is, etam annamayam atmanam upasankramati kramati mati mati. Here kramya kramya kramya. There's only difference. What's the difference? Etam annamayam atmanam upasankramati. There sankramati means from the individual upadhi standpoint, annapranadi, to the total upadhi standpoints evolves to. Here, upasankramya means having crossed even the gross or individual or total upadhi is going to the subtle, 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 and finally even the Anandamaya ka bhi upasankraman karke he will go further. He will discover the self. That's only slight difference between upasankramati, upasankramya. देर उपसंक्रामति के बाद क्या कहा? फाल ये तमानंदमय उत्मात्मानम उपसंक्रामति. हम्म, हम्म, हम्म. देन तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह अप्राप्य मनसा आनंदम ब्रह्मणो विद्वान न विवेति कुतश्चन. So the quotation of the Rig Veda mantra is being taken up there for explanation. Yaha the final stage is explained. He etamanandamayamatmanam upasankramya, then iman lokan kamanni kamarupi anusancharan etat samagayan naste. This is how here it is. We are going to see that. So before that, sayaschayam. What is the quotation for the ekameva dvayam brahma? Sayaschayam purushe yascha savadite sa ekaha. है ना? साहा यह च अयम पुरुषे. That Brahman, that truth, that reality, who is ayam purushe, who is there in me. Purusha now is me. And yah cha asau aditya, and the one, the purusha who is there in that aditya. है ना? Where is aditya? 15 lakhs of kilometers more than farther than us. And as we were discussing that time at length, and off late also in the earlier prasanga, the topic of Aditya and the Purusha. What are the relations? The Purusha is the Karya, Aditya is the Karana, Purusha is the Vyashti, Aditya is the Samashti, Purusha is the Jiva individual, Aditya is Samashti Ishwar. So the Ishvara Jiva, Samashti Vyashti, Karana Karya. Aditya is Ishvara, Samashti, then Karana. Purusha is Jiva, Vyashti, Karya. So far in our life discussion. But after the contemplation, finally, both of them are superimposed on one Paramatma, in whom, in reality, none of these two are real. Therefore, in that Aditya and in this Purusha, in that Karya and in this Karya, in that Vyashti and in this Samashti, Ekaha, one Parabrahma alone is there. Saha yaha cha ayam purushe yaha cha asau aditye sa ekaha. On one Paramatma, the Vyashti Samashti, Karana Karya, then Ishvara Jiva are superimposed. This thing in Tattvamasi, in Chandogya, said in the form of Tattvamasi, Mahavakya. And this is the essence of all teachings the Guru gives, a contemplation we have to do to discover that Tattvamasi ka artha, behind the Tattva, the Ishvara, behind the Tvam, the Jiva. The Satyam Jnananandam Brahma is one, and that is me. Therefore, Ham Brahmasmi is the final experience. Upadesha Vakya is Tattvamasi. Then Ayam Atma Brahma is Anusandhana Vakyam. Aham Brahmasmi is the Anubhuti. Prajnanam Brahma, which we are going to study in our next Upanishad is Lakshana Vakya. So here to this mantra says Champurushe, Bhagavan Adi Shankara is not giving Bhashyam. He says beta already given, sentence is same, nothing to be added or deleted. Therefore usko refer karo. So Sayaschayam Purushe Yascha Vaditye Sa Ekaha Iti Evam Adi Purvavatu. Already it was given. Oh friends, if you want, you yourself can go through the study of that once more. Mm. Mhm. There also, if you remember, we have done such an exhaustive discussion. We तो हम सब भूल जाते हैं सारा चीज 10-12 पेजेस का वहाँ सय एवं मित सयश्चायम पुरुषेश्चा सावादित्य सय कहा इसका इतना लंबा चौड़ा डिस्कशन था. हम्म. of 10, 12 pages. 2 months we have spent for that. And we took 2 seconds to forget all that. So, in this Dashamanuvakaha, after this all samajnas done, conclusion is Ekameva Dvayam Paramatma alone is Satyam, and he is never became samsari. And that is me. Hold on to this point. And all other is only by Bhranti and only by giving value. When you go on devaluing it, the Bhranti goes away. Just like in our life. Anything we value, we get affected by that. And that giving value is delusion. When we start devaluing the thing, we discover that we are independent of that thing or person. This is called as freedom from delusion. Example with regard object, like I can't be without tea. It is only a slavery because of the thought that I can't be without it. It is born out of delusion. 1 week you give up the tea and see, you live alive without it. That's called the removal of Bhranti. You are independent of tea now. In the same way, the Pancha Upadhis, I am that, Panchakosha. Without that, I cannot be, is only a samsara dukkha, born out of delusion. By keeping away them on the seat of meditation, try to discover and identify and establish in the self, which takes a lot of time. In that effort, we discover that these Panchakoshas are not required for me to exist in any manner. That discovery is called as freedom from delusion. Then we are liberated. That is why one by one kosha beta, dhire dhire, etena kramena. Why did Bhashyakara again and again say? And why Shruti Mata also says, अन्नमयम उपसंक्रामति उपसंक्रम्य और प्राणमय उपसंक्रामति उपसंक्रम्य, क्योंकि एक एक कोश को पार करने के लिए एक एक दो दो जन्म लगते हैं. To say that it is not me, the self. And suddenly you can't go to Brahma, Atma also. You have to go to Pranamaya and establish in that till you cross the Annamaya. Then only look at Manomaya. Now when you go to steep climbing, you just can't jump it. You are not a bird to fly. So to one next stage we go, सांस लेते हैं हम. Then again the next one we go. As we are going to each higher, the earlier levels, lower levels are crossed. That is why a person by the age of 16, 18, starting to dedicate himself to the Guru, to the ashrama, to all the disciplines, and to the Taittiriya, the Upanishad, only that when he takes as means for the Paramatma goal, starting at the age of 18, 20, by the time he comes to the age of 60, 65, 70, he will be experiencing the self. Those many 50, 60 years are required to cross each of the kosha. बिकॉज पूरा उसमें घमासान हमको एस्टेब्लिश होना है कि आई एम नॉट अन्नमय, आई एम प्राणमय, आई एम नॉट प्राणमय, आई एम मनोमय, आई एम नॉट मनोमय, आई एम विज्ञान, आई एम नॉट विज्ञानमय, आई एम विज्ञानमय कोश, विज्ञानमय गुहा, एंड इन दैट गुहा आल्सो दैट यो वेद निहितं गुहायाम आई एम दैट अनुभूति which is yato vacho nivartante atrapi manasa saha, cannot be spoken by any vani, cannot be conceived as concept by any mind or intellect. Those who have understood it right from beginning and dedicated, they experienced. Those who could not experience, even after 50, 60 years of exclusive sadhana, one more life for them in the next life. Straight away, they are born in Mahayogi's Kula, or they in the childhood only go to a Mahaguru. Guru gives Upadesha, nothing new. He said, तुमने ये किया था पिछले जन्म में, अब थोड़ा बच्चा कर ले जा. And he does it. Within few years, he realizes. And throughout life, he only does the spreading of that knowledge to all. All the great Sant, Jnani, Yogi who have realized at a very young age are because of this. Some have realized the old age because earlier life थोड़ा किया, इस life में ज़्यादा करना था. है ना? The तुलसीदास आज at the age of 60, 70 they got it. But the Jnaneshwar and all at the age of 16 to 18, 20 they are realized. All Mahatmas. Point is continuation. You and I also start saying that I am the Brahman, not having any samsara to me. Out of Bhranti, I was catching the samsara. So I slowly keep away samsara and discover my independence. In the discovery of the independence, the delusion goes away. Slowly, slowly, the delusion of dependency on the world be reduced by discovering the independence, by experimenting, by keeping away the world. And the healthiest thing for that is, instead of struggling to keep away the world, be in touch with Paramatma. Saguna also, because it helps a lot in the beginning, and Nirguna automatically disturb the dependency on the world goes away. Like for those who are regularly coming to morning, afternoon, evening classes and sticking to only the study and sadhana at home, to a great extent, dependency on things, on beings, in the places, in the projects, slowly gone away. That without that I cannot be, through that only I'll get the happiness. That all is going away. And the lazy people also do that कि कहीं जाते नहीं कुछ करते नहीं खा के सो जाते हैं. No, we are not talking about a wrong example. We are taking our example. No, nowhere to go need to us. The dependency is gone. And at any time when you are tempted by anything, immediately we are referring to a person who already reached there. Is he happy? Is he contented? Is he liberated? No. So even if I reach there, I will also be the same. Therefore, happiness, contentment, realization, liberation is not in achieving that. It is in the self only. Therefore, go to the class, study, become deeper in contemplation. In the self, in yourself only, try to discover that infinite bliss. Let it take 100 lives, but that alone is the right path. Little digress and go back into the world. Again, the delusion becomes stronger. Then, as a never existing but ever misery experiencing Jiva only we continue. The biggest pathetic thing is what? Never existing snake. He is giving misery so realistic to the never existing Jiva. अब देखो ये बोल्ड सेंटेंस है ना. इस स्थिति को पहुंचने के लिए हाउ मच दिस शास्त्रास वी हैव टू डू द स्टडी, हाउ मच ऑफ चिंतना contemplation independently we have to do. For that only they used to go to the ashram in a jungle, in that serene atmosphere, very calm and quiet mind. Hours together they were deep contemplation करते करते ये truth reveal होते थे. Words everybody knows, literal meaning of the word everybody knows. We want the experience of it. Like Vairagya. The little meaning of Vairagya is what? Iha Swarga Bhogeshu Icharahityam. You know, the intellectual understanding of that and experiencing the truth Vairagya, that I have no Icha for any Iha Swarga Bhoga, it is far off. It is that I am PM, the word saying, but really you are sitting on the PM throne. कितना distance है दोनों के बीच में? Same. So they used to go into the forest, only on that job they are there throughout the day. And mind being very sensitive, for little of the any mistake also, it again comes back, falls into the world. Again to lift that to that level is so tough. बेचारे वो लोग करके करके धक्के मुक्के काके in one life of 40-50 years they used to reach that stable stage. You and I also, first stability of being regular to the class we have achieved, which is very first step. LKG only it is. LKG is not your post graduation or doctorate. This is a basic thing. Without this nothing is there. But this is not everything. This is only the first thing. First thing, but the first thing. The thing, but the only first thing. Not all the thing. In this regularity, never compromising with these classes. When we go on using that gained knowledge for contemplation, slowly, slowly, the sthulata goes away by the understanding of sukshmata. May it happen to all of us. Om, 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 om. ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो परमऋषिभ्यो परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे नमः तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु. We will celebrate our Janmashtami tomorrow. No celebration, just Ashtotram Parayanam. Evening